Welcome to our first lesson. It's what is your metabolism and how sleep affects it. If any of you have been working with me before or have watched a lot of my things, I am very passionate about helping mums sleep first rather than dishing out a whole bunch of exercise and getting them to do any extreme meal prepping or restrictions or anything crazy like that. From my experience personally is how I've learnt all this.
So I guess this all came about because we've worked with hundreds of people in the past, and we've developed a real speciality of sorts.
Yeah.
And the way we teach this body transformation stuff is completely different to the whole entire fitness industry. We do it backwards, and it can put a lot of people off when they first start with us. So the whole idea of this course is to educate you with the right information, because we don't have a lack of information. There's so much information out there that it's almost become just too confusing to sift through the sheer amount of it. So we want to arm you with the right information.
Give you a clear path to go down, and you can block out the noise. So you want to do housekeeping first? So
just a little bit of housekeeping. If you are watching this at a later stage, which I'm guessing a lot of you will,
because some kids may not play the game.
Ours almost didn't. She just went down. Which is
like she knew something was happening.
Like every night she's in bed before 7, and then tonight she just decides to stay up. So if you are watching at a later time, just hashtag replay, just so that we know you've watched the replay, because there's a very important action task that goes along with this video at the end. So make sure you stick around, listen to the whole video. That action task will make sense if you watch the whole lot. And you'll be well on the way to start making some of this information work for you. Cool.
So, hey, Simone, thanks for jumping on. So first of all, we've come up with the diet cycle, aka diet mindset, and this is for mamas in general, that we have through our experience is what we have developed. And so Pete's going to post it.
You can see it actually if you scroll to the top of the comments in this feed. So on this video at the top, the diet cycle, aka diet mindset diagram is there, and you can actually look at it as Megan explains it.
Cool. So the whole banner it comes under sleep deprivation, because whether your kids are sleeping or not, we have been through some sort of sleep deprivation. Even if you're an honorary mama on here that you aren't a mama yet, but you are learning all this so you can be prepared for when you are a mum. So at some stage or another, you are going to be sleep deprived, so the damage does come in. So you can see with the green arrow here, you start to attempt to eat healthy and exercise, because you put the pressure on yourself. You want to get your body back after pregnancy, after kids and stuff, and you feel as though you should do something about it. So you attempt to eat the healthy food, and you attempt to exercise. Meanwhile, you're sleep deprived, right? There's the banner. Then you come down and you think, oh, okay, well, Joe Blow down the road's cutting, restricting, and Susan. No, I was going to say Simone, but no, not Simone. She does the right thing. So Susan down the, in accounts or at the daycare, she's cutting, she's increasing her activity. So she's going to the gym every day. She's smashing it out, and she goes for like an hour and a half, and she shoves her kids in the crate.
She's not eating carbs.
She's not eating carbs, and she's cutting out this and cutting out beige foods and red foods, and because that's all brown for you to, it's all bad for you to inflame the body, right? So that's what's happening. You try and do that. And then you go to the next arrow, which you'll get cravings, because when you cut things out and you over exercise and you're not actually putting enough energy into your body, you will start to crave the quickest source of nutrition. You'll get fatigue, so you're like, wow, why am I so tired all the time? I'm exercising, I'm trying to eat right, and I'm trying to run around after all my children. Why am I so tired? And poor recovery because of the sleep deprivation. So then you cave into those cravings because, you know, life gets busy. You want to go to that party and you want to eat the cake and you feel like you're missing out on everything and you feel like absolute crap. So you cave into the cravings and you miss exercise. You miss 1 or 2 exercises because, you know, your kids are sick or you're sick. And then you go to the next arrow and you feel like a failure. So you give up, you've got no motivation, and you feel shit about yourself. And then the cycle begins.
Again. So I guess what I'm going to start to explain now to you is how what your metabolism is and how sleep affects that metabolism. Because
just quickly before you go into it, if any of you mamas agree on that cycle or anything resonates on that cycle, like comment below.
Yeah.
You know, if you relate.
So we want to make this as interactive as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies, rather than just sitting here lecturing you.
So whether you agree
really
or not agree,
get
relate,
involved.
don't relate.
If you've gone through that cycle before, or whether it's been once or 10,000 times, comment below. Let us know. Every cycle you go through, you might have experienced that these body shape changes gets harder and harder. So you might have done something in your 20s and it doesn't work anymore in your 30s, and especially won't work in your 40s. It may have worked before kids and it doesn't work for you after kids. Every single time you go through that cycle, it damages your metabolism. So it actually gets harder and harder to change your body shape with each attempt. For lasting success with body shape changes, what we know is you must start with sleep. Okay, so you must start with addressing those underlying problems that, as you're about to find out, really affect a lot of the things that we have good intentions for. So let's start with your metabolism. Alicia says, yep, she can relate.
Keto is the new thing, low carbs, calorie deficit. Yep, I've been in that cycle since my first was born 4.5 years ago. Yeah, cool.
So we're all on the same page.
Cool. Yeah.
So your metabolism. Your metabolism is essentially a hairy bag of chemical soup. And we use that term because we don't use it lightly. It is essentially that. If you looked at the billions and billions of complex reactions that occur in your body every single day, from the time you wake to the time you go to sleep and all the way through your sleep back to the time you awake, it's a 24-hour cycle. So your metabolism is constantly working either to produce energy for your daily activities or to repair from the day's stress. Okay, so this is something that occurs on a very minute cellular level, and those billions and billions of complex chemical reactions affect 3 things. Those 3 things are the way you look, okay, or your body composition, i.e. how much body fat you have and how much muscle you have. It affects your the way you feel, so your health, your ability to fight off infection when you get sick. So it's the determining factor between whether you're sick for 3 weeks and 4 weeks and you keep passing around the house, or you get over it in a few days. Yeah. It's a determining factor of also the way you function. So your energy levels, do you jump out of bed with energy? Can you get through the day without your 3 p.m. slump, 2 p.m. slump, 1 p.m. slump? Some people get a 11 a.m. slump and they're searching for something sweet.
Second coffee,
third coffee, 6th coffee for me today. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Debbie.
So your metabolism does influence some pretty important things in our life. And if you start to short circuit the process and what's the word I'm looking for? If you start to
jump ahead,
sacrifice your health or your energy for your body shape, then you've entered in what's called an unsustainable program. So as soon as you start to feel like crap, you start to get sick quicker, you lose motivation, you've essentially entered into the unsustainable. And whatever result you get from that unsustainable plan won't last. It won't stick around. So moving forward, we know what our metabolism is now. Let's talk about how sleep affects it. Sleep is actually really, really important. We spend a third of our lives sleeping. So that's if you're sleeping.
Underrated.
It's
Far
way underrated.
It's way underrated.
Until you don't have it anymore.
Until you don't have it, it's taken away from you.
Yeah.
And you realize just how important it is.
There's actually been research which has shown if you are sleep deprived, your carbohydrate metabolism is impaired. So when I talk about carbohydrate metabolism, what I mean is the way your body utilizes carbohydrates. So if you're sleep deprived, your body won't know what to do with carbohydrates. And if we imagine our bodies as a factory that's constantly pulling boxes out of shelves and putting new boxes in, taking deliveries in and sending deliveries out, those deliveries are the nutrition that you eat. All right, and the deliveries that you send out is the energy that you produce. Now, carbohydrates coming into a sleep-deprived body is like going into a factory where nobody's the boss. No one's the boss, and they just get a box, they look at it, and they throw it off to the side, and they put it in the wrong spot. They don't know what to do with it. That's right. So your body is storing those carbohydrates as fat, rather than utilizing it as energy or storing it in your muscle as energy. And when that happens, you get a vicious cycle start to occur in insulin sensitivity. So this is almost pre-diabetes, which is what I'm talking about now. When we talk about insulin sensitivity, what we mean is the key to unlock the energy in the carbohydrates isn't produced as well as it could be in the body. So long story short, you've got these lunatic workers just shoving carbohydrates left, right, and center, and then no way to open those boxes. You get the storage of body fat through carbohydrates, but then you also get a craving, right? So your body starts to crave more carbohydrates because it's not getting what it needs from the carbohydrates. It's not getting the energy and it wants more. So the brain can't tell that it's not getting the energy, so it just keeps wanting more, and your body
there's a chemical that a chemical is produced that then makes you feel as though you crave carbs and you need the quickest source of energy.
Exactly.
Because you're so depleted.
Now, if this happened back in the cave days, we didn't actually have processed carbohydrates, so it wasn't a big deal. But now we've got Pop-Tarts and we've got donuts and we've got all those sweet things that our mind knows is full of energy.
And quick and easy.
So it's going to go straight for those things. And that sort of encapsulates your metabolism, how it affects it.
And the point that we want to make is why mums fail is that it has nothing to do with lack of motivation, and you're not lazy, and you're not demotivated or whatever else you feel like when you feel like you failed at this when you're trying to attempt. It's the fact that you're sleep deprived, that this is what is happening with your body.
Kristen says that she's been told she's got insulin resistance, and Ashley says she craves carbs, sugar so bad when I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. So that's explaining why when you're tired you will crave those. You'll have those sugar cravings.
And Kristen's a shift worker.
Yeah. Okay. So shift worker, mum. Same, really. I always say to my mums when they're doing their metabolic classification, tick shift worker. Because you're a shift worker.
Yeah, you've got a baby.
Whether you like it or not. You may even be like this when you're shift working.
So even if you don't have kids yet and you are a shift worker, this sort of stuff still applies.
It applies, it resonates, and it helps you understand exactly what's going on, instead of going, oh, why am I, such a fatty for wanting some sugar and some donuts and stuff.
I mean, we all love those things, don't we?
So that just explains that a little bit. Another thing that can actually happen to you with this impaired metabolism when you're sleep deprived is nutrient deficiency. So what happened with me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory, but I'm going to fast forward it. It's not going to be really long. But when I had Logan, my second baby, I recovered quite well from birth, and so I went back to training thinking that I could do it all, and I went back to...
I remember I was really proud of you.
Oh yeah, so proud, like I'm awesome. Here I am, no excuse, baby, and I'm squatting, the real hero, thinking I could do it all and bragging about it. So I went back to intense exercise. I was severely sleep deprived, and like I had a baby that wasn't a great, like she was okay for a little while, but from the 4 to 6 month regression is when she got worse. And I kept training through that. I kept, you know, as life goes on, you've got to look after your other baby. You've got to take her to school. You've got to take her to her hobby. She was doing karate at that stage. So I was, and then I, you know, was still doing work and stuff. I can't help myself, you know, when I'm passionate about something. So I was still heavily involved in the business. I was breastfeeding. I was sleep deprived, getting up at night time, and then still going and doing intense training. And I wondered why I was always tired. And Pete said to me, you know, you should go and get your iron levels checked and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why would I get my iron levels checked? You know, I'm eating more than the recommended daily allowance that I should, or the recommended, the minimum daily recommendations. Yeah, I'm eating more than that. I think I was eating like 3 minced meals a day and, you know, chicken and lots of iron. I knew exactly, I know what sort of foods to eat to fuel my body and to keep healthy, and I couldn't understand why I just kept plummeting and I felt like shit all the time. And then it took probably a good 2 years before, and I actually, once my baby started sleeping, once Logan started sleeping, I then was so wired and my adrenal glands had gone so backwards that I couldn't sleep. So meanwhile, while she's there sleeping and I finally got a rested baby, my head's going zzz, like this, and I can't. And so then I'm tired throughout the entire day, but at nighttime I was awake like an owl, and it was driving me crazy.
You still suffer those effects now?
I still suffer those effects now, definitely, and I have to watch my caffeine intake and all of that. Like, so that's, you know, a whole nother level. But also the point here about nutrient deficiency was that because I was training intensely and I was not going to sleep at night, or I was having multiple wakings and disturbed sleep, I wasn't actually repairing. So every time you go to the gym and you're performing intense exercise, you're actually putting your body under stress and you're breaking down the muscle, etc. And then when you go to sleep, that's when, and you're resting and recovering, that's when you're supposed to repair and grow. So I'll actually try and find some photos of me at the worst of it, where I was actually like tiny and pale and grey, and I did not look healthy at all. And my body had actually, when I finally, you know, got glandular fever, I got my iron levels were so low that I was anemic and I couldn't understand it. And the doctor said to me, you know, if you don't stop and start to rest and recover, you're only going to get worse. So that's when I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. So what had actually happened is, because I'm not repairing at nighttime, my body stopped absorbing the nutrients that I was giving it. So I was on point with my nutrition. I was thinking I was doing all the right things, but I wasn't actually covering the core reason.
Yeah, you didn't address
I didn't address the issue, which was sleep, and that's why we're so passionate about teaching mums and women in general on how to sleep and how to have great sleeping habits, so you can, when you do eat the right foods, it gets absorbed and it gets utilized in the right way. And when you're exercising, then you can rest, grow, and repair.
So it manifests in a lot of different ways.
A lot of different
ways,
yes.
Everybody
Not necessarily
will have the same experience as Megan, but what's important to know is, if you do want to make the most out of your training, get the most from your eating, get the most from feeling, looking, and you know, functioning really, really well, sleep always comes first. If you haven't addressed your sleeping habits, you can do whatever you like. You can shave 10% off your macros, you can change your macro percentage up, you can incorporate as much F45 and CrossFit and other cardio regimes as you like. If your body's not repairing from what you're actually doing to it, you won't get anywhere. All your body shape changes will come to a grinding halt. This is why we're gonna give you this action task tonight.
Yeah.
So would you like to give it to them? Or would you like?
Oh yes, no, it's mine. It's totally mine. So, so my action task, or I challenge you all, and it's 10 to 8 now. So I challenge you all at 8 p.m. every night for 1 week is to shut off your mobile phones, keep them out of the bedroom,
Yes.
and put them in the kitchen or wherever. And if you've got an alarm set, you can still hear it with your door open and stuff. We don't have our phones in our bedroom at all. And Pete sets his alarm and he still hears it every morning. So 8 p.m. every night. And then I challenge you to, stop the social media, all that kind of jazz at that time. And I challenge you to have a conversation with your husband, or your partner, or your dog, or your cat, or whoever keeps you company at night, or read a book instead. And we watch a little bit of telly, like for about half an hour or something. That doesn't seem to do as much damage and doesn't seem to make you as wired. So that's what I challenge you to do for a week. And I challenge you to then post about your sleep quality and the difference that it makes by doing this. Some mamas on the line that I have already told to do this previously, if you've noticed a difference, jump on and let them know. Let the other mamas know what a difference it does make. So like I said, turning off switch off the social media, the phones at 8 p.m, wind down with like a chamomile tea or something. Have a conversation with your husband, spend time with him, your partner, your lover, your dog, your cat, whatever. And read a book before you go to bed, and just notice the difference. You can even meditate. There's another option.
I'll explain why we're doing this. Your brain will react to the light on the screens. It'll actually, the way your circadian rhythm functions is essentially sunlight will tell the brain to wake up and start producing cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And if you're looking at a screen, which is artificial sunlight, your body is flooding itself with cortisol, and that cortisol doesn't actually help you repair, doesn't help you sleep well, and all that sort of stuff. So
it makes your mind still active. It tells you to be awake.
This is really important stuff.
It is. Another stupid thing that I did, mums. So I'm telling you all the things not to do that I did, the stupid things that I did. So another stupid thing that I did when I was breastfeeding was that I looked on my phone at nighttime just to kind of keep me awake. And then you read stupid articles and you go on tangents on why your baby's not sleeping, and and you may even do some online shopping and then go, oh, holy shit, did I do that last night? But yeah, in all seriousness, it damages you. And that's half of my problem when I couldn't go. I had to train myself on how to sleep again.
So if you've got a Apple iPhone, hopefully this live feed will clear it up. There's a screen time. Let's see if I can turn the brightness down on this. There's a screen time app that you can use, and it will. You can actually schedule in downtime away from the screen.
Yeah,
it's really a really good tool. We'd like to see you. There it is. There, screen time. Right, so we'd like to see a post in the FitMum group with your screen time app all sorted out, with your downtime scheduled in 8 p.m. every night.
And let us know how you feel with it. All right. Guilty of that too. All right, now, mamas, get off your phones and we will talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.